Hey folks, it is Wednesday, December 7th. The time is 1:41 p.m. and the temperature outside is around 7 degrees Celsius. And I'm here at Sherbourne Station. And this is the Glen Road exit I am heading out of. And there's a look towards St. Jamestown. And right here used to be the entrance to a tunnel that would lead you over to a pedestrian bridge that would take you over the Rosedale Valley. So I am just south of Bloor Street, which is right behind me. And when I left my apartment to record this one, I didn't have any plan in mind at all. I kind of challenged myself just to head out and see what I come up with. So I think what I'm going to do is head over to Bloor Street East, although I guess I could have just headed up once I left the subway station. I'll walk over along Howard Street to Sherbourne, and then maybe I'll take Church up to Davenport, and I'll follow that up to Avenue Road, and then I'll make my way across over to Summerhill Station. I've heard good things about this Filipino restaurant here, Tenuno. That is right next to Manila Centro. Filipino cuisine, takeouts, and catering. It's another overcast and kind of gloomy day. And this park will be closed from spring 2024 through spring 2025. I think that's due to a redevelopment of these properties here. And across the street is a French restaurant, the Maison Selby. And I was there on Saturday night. It's located in an old house that was actually moved, I think, about 10 feet. And that was to accommodate that condo construction. And it is an absolutely stunning restaurant. So I'm heading up towards Bloor Street East here. And there'll be another entrance to Sherbourne Station just on the right. And I'm a bit curious about this soul food restaurant right here. I'm just going to take a quick look. Korean chicken curry, $9.95. Bulgogi, $11.45. Vegetable bibimbap is $10. So this is west along the north side of Bloor Street East, on the very north end of downtown. That's where Post Media, which owns the National Post and Toronto Sun newspapers, is located. Never been to that Popeyes. And I did look up a few homes that were for sale. I figured I'd make my way over to Roxborough Avenue and Summerhill. I found a home. It was actually a lot cheaper than I was thinking I'd find. It's $2.7 million. And I found another home, $3.295. So we'll see if I can successfully locate those. And many a time I've been riding my bike along Bloor Street and gone down that way to hop on Mount Pleasant Road and take that north up to Midtown. There's a look north up Mount Pleasant. And that ends up at the Yonge Lawrence neighborhood. This is the north end of Ted Rogers Way, although a block south of here it just becomes Jarvis Street. And on the right, we have the old Manufacturers Life Insurance Company building. And often what I do when I'm riding my bike or scooter back home is if I don't turn on Mount Pleasant, I'll turn a right at this street coming up or the next one on Church. And that will act as a shortcut to get over to Yonge Street. And they had a stunning display up for Remembrance Day on November 11th. The grounds in that building are always well manicured and taken care of. So this is St. Paul's Square. And it goes south for about a block, and then it veers to the left. And next up is Church Street. And that terminates to the south down in the St. Lawrence neighborhood, just south of Front Street. And it's mostly a north-south running street. Although I'm going to walk the stretch that heads northwest here. Make a right. I hear a parade of sirens making their way. That's an ambulance. It's having some trouble sliding through traffic. There we go. That couple ran right in front of it. I wonder if it's going to where that cop car is straight ahead. Nope. There's a couple of cop cars. One has its lights on. So this is Asquith Avenue, which gets interrupted to the left here by a small park. Otherwise it heads all the way over to Yonge Street. That's the Manulife building again, straight ahead. It's a nice little park space. That's the Milner Parkette. I think that's probably heading to the same place that ambulance was going. And there used to be some really nasty potholes around this bend, and if you hit them at a good speed on a bike or scooter, you'd be in for a bit of a surprise, but they not too long ago resurfaced this part of the street. That car turning right got honked at for not turning in front of me. Okay. Speaking of which, I posted an old video I was on this channel a few years ago onto TikTok and it blew up. And then I had a bunch of messages this morning from people telling me they saw it on SixBuzz on their Instagram channel. A little bit more on that in a second. There is Burger Delicious, and that used to be an Indian and Pakistani restaurant that was really well known called King Palace. And I think it opened up in 2008 and it closed last year. Not to be confused with King's Place, another similar restaurant down at Dundas and Sherbourne. And there is the Toronto Reference Library on the left. So as I was saying, SixBuzz took my video and posted it, but they made no mention that it was my video, nor did they reach out and ask for permission. And what's interesting is they blurred out the license plates. There were a few vehicles that turned and nearly hit me, but they didn't blur the faces of the drivers. I'm not sure what that's all about or if they quite know what they're doing, but license plates are public information. If you pause the video, you could probably read them off these cars. So if they're concerned about privacy, why wouldn't they blur the faces of the drivers? Again, they're appearing on a public road, so posting them online is fair game. But based on the fact that they posted my video without consent, kind of tells me they don't really have a clue what they're doing anyways. I reached out to them just to kind of say, what the hell? It's possible someone sent it to them pretending to be the rightful owner. They do have a submission form on their site, but still it would be pretty easy to verify it with me if that were the case. So they definitely didn't do their due diligence. And we are at Yonge Street. And it looks out, so now I am north of downtown. There's the Masonic Temple across the street. I mentioned it before, but that's where I saw my first ever concert. That was the Foo Fighters back in April of '96. So Church Street is no more. This is now Davenport Road. Just as that was an odd section of Church that heads northwest on the street that mostly runs north-south. This is a bit of an odd stretch of Davenport because this street mostly runs east-west. But it bends northwest on this stretch and ends up running north of DuPont. And I think Davenport runs all the way over to Old Weston Road in the Junction neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken. And this would be the north end of the Yorkville neighborhood. The Stone Church. And just up ahead is the north end of Bay Street. think this is a luxury condo just on the right. And that is Bay Street. And on the right, we have a Maserati car dealership. And that is also where you would pick up an Alfa Romeo. And just ahead here is what I think is easily one of the ugliest buildings in the city. I actually researched this before and I have some information on it that I'm saving for a future video. And if I had it at my fingertips, I'd be happy to share it right now, but there it is in all its ugly glory. It is strikingly hideous. And Davenport's one of those roads that doesn't really have a cohesive feel to it. You'll find a mix of retail and residential homes just fronting the street. Developments like this on the right, kind of sticking its middle finger up at the street, saying, "You don't deserve better." And this is Belmont Street. EMS Station 45. I would imagine that one's definitely on the older side. And you'll notice, fortunately, Davenport does have a bike lane, but unfortunately, it's not of the protected variety. There goes the cyclist. And just off in that direction is Ramsden Park. And I'll briefly cut through there as I make my way up to Roxborough. a lot of galleries and antique shops and that sort of thing here. Nail salons and spas. I assume mostly of the higher end variety. Rosen Group Private Wealth Management. As the streets just south of here in Yorkville have very high property values. And just south is Yorkville Village as well. I do not know how to pronounce that. Thermodynamics Cannabis? There's someone who doesn't know what a bike lane is. Sotheby's Realty, International Realty. There's a home in Mississauga for $1 million. Prince Edward County, it's well north of here. A loft at Wellington for $1.9 million. Sports cards, art, NFTs at the Mittink Gallery. I've got a bunch of old sports cards. I didn't know that was still a thing. And this is Avenue Road. So I'm going to hang it right here, where unfortunately there's a ghost bike. Belonging to, or in memoriam of Adam Excel, 1988 to 2015, designer, photographer, friend. So that means he lost his life in this intersection, riding his bike. And just up ahead, a police officer was hit by a vehicle and dragged and lost his life. Sir Sergeant Ryan Russell. There's a little parquet named after him. It's kind of a dangerous stretch. Nice, wide, relatively straight road, and if there weren't construction going on, there's often a lot of really fast-moving traffic going through here. All right, so this is Pears Avenue. I am in the Summerhill neighborhood now, which is bordered by Avenue Road just behind me to the west, and just south of this park here, Ramsden, south being to my right, and by Harmon Avenue to the north. And Yonge Street to the east, although at a certain point, I think around Shaftesbury, it kind of makes a big L shape and it extends all the way over to Mount Pleasant Road. So I could just walk straight through this park and pop out at the other side and enter Rosedale Station. But I noticed on Google Maps on my way down that this pathway here was public between these homes. So I don't think I've ever gone this way before. So I was looking, and most of the homes in this area seem to be valued a little under 3 million to north of 5 million Canadian. And this would be Roxborough Avenue West. And 113, just up here on the right, is currently listed for 2.7 million. It's listed as having 3 bathrooms. Not sure how many bedrooms. Here it is. And I think your property taxes are going to be about $12,000 or $13,000 a year. There's a dog in the window. I don't know how many square feet that home is. And Roxborough runs between Avenue Road behind me and Yonge Street straight ahead. Then it resumes as Roxborough Avenue East, I think just south of the intersection up ahead on Yonge, and that heads over to Mount Pleasant. So what's that other house number for sale? I jotted it down, 23 Roxborough Avenue. That one is signed for 3.295 million. That's a 4-bath, 3-bedroom. There's a clever way of saying I don't like to cut my grass. There's an inflatable Santa across the street. I think we'll see more and more of those spring up in the coming weeks. And I quite like this one on the right. And the one next to it.
this side definitely.
And that is Yonge Street just up ahead, so I'll be there in a few minutes. And I have overdressed. I'm wearing a thick hoodie underneath this thin jacket, and it is overkill for sure. That one's quite interesting, and it has a heritage plaque on it. And I'm guessing that was a later addition above the porch. Or do you call that a stoop? All right, for sale. This must be the one. So a hair under 3.3 million Canadian. We'll get you this, another semi. And it has its own domain name, 23roxborough.com. I think I read one of those two properties is holding an open house on December 10th. Now, as a kid growing up, and if you said a house was $3 million, you would expect a mega mansion, but not these days. And the Starbucks is a popular spot, but I think its days are numbered. There's plans to build a condo on that lot. And welcome back to Yonge Street. And another look south. Pantry. So I'm going to head north, just north of the LCBO up ahead. That's that clock tower sticking up at the old North Toronto rail station. Then I'm going to pop into Summerhill Station. Yeah, that mail carrier is out wearing short sleeves. Here I am with a long sleeve t-shirt and a really thick hoodie and a coat. I should really be taking a cue from that guy. And I'll look along McPherson. And I think once these Yonge Street bike lanes are permanent, we'll see a lot more infrastructure like that spring up. All right, the light's changing. I guess I'll cross. There is Tironi. That restaurant has one of the better rooftop patios in the area. There we go. It's funny, in that video, I was walking across the street, the one that Six Buzz lifted from me. I was holding my camera in front of me. When I do this, I'm not really watching my camera at all. I also walk at a pretty brisk pace, and a lot of the comments were, stop looking at your phone while you're crossing the street. It's like, well, my phone was in my pocket. And they're telling me to pay attention. It's kind of ironic, because I was the only one paying attention. Certainly not the drivers making dangerous and illegal turns, nearly killing me. Oh, of course it's my fault. Let's blame the pedestrian. That's indicative of the us against them attitudes people have these days. I was just reminded of that as that lady set off across the street with her head clearly buried in her phone just before here. That pole made out to look like a Christmas tree will be lit up at night. I'll probably do a night or twilight walk along the stretch of Yonge, starting at St. Clair, heading south to Bloor at some point in the near future. I did my favorite twilight stretch along Front Street East yesterday. I think this one in the other direction might be my second favorite. And most of these windows were covered up. There's a look in at the cashiers for some reason. This might be one of the only surface parking lots of its kind along Yonge Street. At least south of Eglinton. I'm struggling to really think of any others like it. And I think that's part of the land parcel that the old North Toronto rail station was built on. I'm not sure if the LCBO liquor store is leasing that property or if they own it. But I bet many developers have inquired about that land. I think if they built something set back from the sidewalk that didn't block the view of the train station and they offered underground parking to replace that surface parking lot, that would be kind of a win-win. Now into Summerhill TTC Station. I'm going to head north up to Midtown. I also had a thought as I was making my way down to go to East York and record through there, and I had another idea to go to Victoria Park Station and just walk north up Victoria Park up to Eglinton and then take the bus back. I got a view of Street View, and that did not look like a particularly appealing route. So here we go, one of the least busy stations. I hope you enjoyed this one, starting at Sherbourne Station, making my way eventually up through the Summerhill neighborhood, and then over to here at Summerhill Station. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And if you wish to support what I do, there's links to Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. Ooh, that train's busy. And I have TikTok and Instagram at Johnny Strides, and there's a super thanks button here below these videos. All right, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.
Line 1, Fort Finch.
Attention customers on line 1, Yonge University. Minor delays northbound from Bloor and Finch while we fix a mechanical.
Please stand clear of the doors. Next station is St. Clair Station.